Well, good morning. This is me, Mom. Um, Today, I've entitled this lesson that I wanted to bring to you, or thoughts to you, is taking a path that looked inviting. And I know that I'm not the only one that's taken a path that we thought was the right way to go, only to have to turn around and go back where we came from and get on the right path. Last week, I shared with you about God teaching me what I believed about communion. And we felt, since that we were not allowed to participate, that we needed to look somewhere else. So we left the church. We had been going to the Full Gospel Businessmen's Fellowship meetings ever since we moved back to Bullock County, and they met once a month. And after we left there, we thought, well, maybe we needed to look for a Full Gospel church. And so we found out that there was a fellowship that was meeting there in Statesboro. But it was 15 miles from where we lived, and it really didn't fit our schedule. And but we stayed there. And one day I just happened to be in a Christian bookstore, and I really liked that Christian bookstore because you could subscribe for a year for $10 and check out 3 tapes, and then when you brought those back you could get 3 more. And so there were awesome teachers back in the 80s. I wouldn't take anything for having had that experience and to learn so much. So we began to check out tapes, and we listened to tapes every morning going to work for the next 10 to 15 years. I don't remember, I didn't keep count. But we literally listened to hundreds of tapes. And that caused me and Fred to grow together in our beliefs in the Lord. So that was really, not only were we learning the Bible, but we were growing together as a couple. So while I was in there one day, I asked him, I said, do you by any chance know of a church or anybody that's preaching the full gospel? And they said, well, yeah, and they told me the name of a church. Well, that church happened to be just about 2 miles from where we lived. But it was the same denomination that we had just left. But we felt impressed to go and listen to the preacher. And he was good. He was anointed, and man, I really liked him, and we wanted to go there for the teaching. So we went there, and I guess it was probably, well, we were there about a year, and they were going to have communion. Well, I wasn't about to go because, hey, I knew what had happened the last time. But Fred says, I'm going. I said, well, you go ahead and go. I'm not going to go. So he went, and part of their communion was where you wash each other's feet. And so the preacher washed Fred's feet, and Fred washed his, and nothing was said about it, so we continued attending there. And the tire store is doing well. We were growing, and I was able to take a couple of days a week off, and so that I could do my chores at home and be there when Lisa got home, and maybe have a little bit of free time for myself. And so my oldest sister says, well, come on and join the home demonstration club. And I thought, well, I knew my mama had been a member of it, and so were my 2 sisters, and I thought this would be a good chance for us to be together and get me back into the community again. So I joined the Homemakers. Well, it wasn't long before it was my time to be a hostess for the group. So I've always worked, and I have always used every minute of my 24 hours that I could squeeze out of it. I'm never late, but I'm never early either. I'm pretty well within 5 minutes of being on time. So, of course, I worked the day before. So the day that they were all to come, I had to do all my cleaning, all my cooking, all my preparing. So I had dressed in work clothes, and the last thing that I did after cleaning out the sink, always did that last, so I kept on old clothes. About 1:45, I went in to take my shower and get ready, and I thought, that's give me 45 minutes, and so when they get here, I can be calm, cool, and collected. Well, guess what? I had just got in the shower when there was a knock on the door. Oh my gosh, who was that? And it was one of my sisters with 2 other ladies. They had come early. I didn't know that that was the custom or their habit was to come early. So here I am. I mean, I'm dirty, and I'm taking a shower, And they come in. So I yelled to my sister, "You're going to have to take care of my guest. I'm in the shower." So anyway, isn't that a great impression to make on the new members of your club that you have just joined? And then there was another thing that really gave them a good impression of me. Once a year, we had a booth at the fair where we provided home-baked goods, to sell to the public. This is a fundraiser for all of the home demonstration clubs. And so we were supposed to make a cake and carry it up there. And so I said, okay, maybe I can do that. I didn't cook cakes very often, but, and they says, and it has to be from scratch. And I'm thinking, from scratch? I mean, why can't I use a cake box mix? That's what I'd always done. No, it had to be from scratch. So I said, okay, I'll try to make one from scratch. So, of course, I had to make the last minute, before I had time to do it. I fixed it, and when I went to take it out of the pans, all I can tell you it fell apart. It was ridiculous looking. I called my sister, and I told her, I said, look, I tried to make this cake, I said, but it is not fitting to carry. And she says, well, just go ahead and put the frosting on it, bring it, it'll be all right. I said, I don't think so. So, yeah, it'll be fine, just bring it. So I did what she said. I made a wonderful, delicious tasting caramel frosting to go on it, and I put pecans on top of that, and I carried it to her house because I wanted to be compliant and do what I was asked to do. And she took one look at that cake. She said, I don't think we need it after all. So anyway, so that didn't make a very good impression on everybody either. But I gave, the cake didn't go to waste. I gave it to my niece, and she was thrilled to get it. And later she told me, she said, Aunt Bee, that's the best cake I ever ate. So looks don't always count. And there was another club that they invited me to join, and it was the bingo club. And it met once a week. Well, I went a couple of times. And y'all, I'm not lucky, y'all. I don't claim to be lucky. But for door prizes, for the bingo prizes, they brought a gift for everybody. And they were dollar gifts, so you can imagine how important it was to win a gift. But when you won a gift, then everybody, when you won, you quit playing so that everybody else could win. I won the doggone prize twice in a row that I went, and then I had to sit there for an hour, hour and a half while they finished playing bingo. And that was just too much of a waste of time for somebody that had as much work to do as I did. So I quit going to the bingo club. Anyone that's ever lived on a farm can tell you that there is a lot of excitement to do. Things that happen just by accident. I mean, we do so much work. So one day, Fred had gone outside to mow the grass, and I wasn't paying much attention to him, but all of a sudden I heard him yelling, "Betty! Betty!" And I thought, where in the world is he? I didn't see him, and I didn't hear the lawnmower running. I said, "Where are you?" He says, "I'm in the ditch. Go bring the truck and a chain and pull me out." So I ran and I got the truck and the chain, and I went over to the ditch. And he had been mowing, and he got too close to the edge of the ditch, and he had fallen in a 10-foot ditch. It was deep. It had just been dug. And I thought, oh my gosh, he could have killed himself or got hurt really bad. But I gave him the chain. I hooked it onto the truck, and he hooked it onto the lawnmower, and I pulled him out. But it's a wonder that he didn't really get hurt. So that was one of the incidents that happens. But we were still attending the church and enjoying the preacher. And it was probably about 2 years, and everything was going good. And I felt a leading that I thought was from the Lord, that I wanted to become a member, because I like to be involved in the churches that I attend. I like to use my gifts for the Lord. I didn't pray. I don't remember praying about it, but it seemed like a good idea, and I wanted to do it. And so I march up front one Sunday and tell them that, I would like to become a member of the church. And then I found out that I was going to have to be rebaptized. So, well, I can do that. What's a little bit of water? But the following week, I struggled. Why can't I do this? I don't feel like I'm supposed to do this. And then one day the Lord spoke to him and he says, why are you going to get baptized again? He said, you've already been baptized twice, once when you were 10, and another one whenever you were about 31, because you wanted to make sure that everything was right. So why are you going to get baptized again? And I thought, well, the only reason I had to get baptized again was so that I could become a member of the doctrine of that church. And then I thought, well, do I believe in their doctrine? And I thought, no, I don't. So then I knew that I couldn't be baptized again. But I made up my mind about baptism and what I believe about that. But because I had made a public profession that I wanted to join, then I had to make a he insisted, and I felt like it was him, that I had to make a public denouncement of why I couldn't join. And I did that. Now that was hard to do, y'all, but I tried to be obedient to what I felt God was calling me to do. So that was the second thing. I determined what I knew about communion. Now I knew what I believed about baptism. So, but where in the world were we going to go? We visited 2 more churches in the meantime. And I didn't feel at peace about either one of them. And so we decided that we would attend a church in Statesboro. And they were the same denomination of where Fred gave his life to the Lord. And that's where I was rebaptized. So we thought that they would believe like we did. So we decided that we would go there the next Sunday. And we did. So hope you'll join me next week. So listen, like, comment, share, and subscribe.